All right, guys, I'm naming this flight the Quarter-Acre Challenge. It's a challenge for me to see if I can launch and land from this quarter of an acre. And I think it's a size that I could routinely get up and down without going outside of the perimeter. The whole concept is stemming from my last video where I said I can launch from my yard. Really, I have like a 3-acre airfield here, but I don't need that much for sure. I think I probably use just a section that I mowed, 40 feet wide, 200 feet long, and it's just under a quarter-acre. I'm calling it the Quarter-Acre Challenge. So for a lot of the great pilots out there, they don't even need that much room, especially if you have a headwind. You can get off the ground faster. But I'm doing this in nil wind, and I want to see what is something that's reasonable for me to get up and down routinely. And it's really a question that a lot of newer pilots ask. Like, let's say someone who's under 50 flights might say, how much room do I need to get up and down? If I bought a piece of land, how much room would I need? So let's test that together tonight and check this out. The atmosphere has been very active tonight. We have some storms about 20 miles south of here, and I also see some climbing cumulus clouds, which it's hard to judge distance. It may be the same storm, and some of them are falling down as well. But it feels really still here, no movement in the treetops. So we'll go ahead and send it. Make sure we get full power here. The lines are clear. Oh, look, here's my buddy Ryan up in the air. And you can see all the cloud development. But they're losing energy, they're falling down. And we're treated to a really beautiful rainbow tonight. So you can see I got off the ground well before that 200-foot mark. And so it was a pretty good test to see just how much room you do need to launch and land. Now there are going to be so many more factors, guys. What is your altitude? What size wing do you have? How much power do you have in your motor? Do you have an Atom 80, Moster 185, something else? How heavy are you? And all these other conditions like the density, altitude, and so forth. But the biggest other factor is what lies beyond your field. So if I have a grass field that I use as my airstrip, and then beyond that I have a crop like soybeans or corn or something like that, makes it very easy. If beyond that I have a line of 80-foot trees, then I have to account for that in my distance and so forth. Let me show you the field, guys. So there's a little spot there. So you have to think, how much further do you need free of obstacles in order to have enough room? Let me climb. There's actually a simple mathematical formula to figure this out. Let's say there's a set of trees off the end of my runway. They're 40 feet tall. And if I know my climb rate, let's say it's 5 to 1. For every 5 feet forward, I climb 1 foot comfortably. Then I can just multiply 40 feet times 5 is 200 feet. I need 200 feet between the end of my airfield and that next set of obstacles, the 40-foot trees. And then the other issue becomes that you always want it out. So I don't want to just barely clear the trees. If my motor goes out at any moment, I need to be able to turn around without power and get back to a landable option. And then speaking of landings, let's see if we can get the landing just right, where I end up right back in that same section of the field without overshooting it. Oh man, it's hard to see. Go ahead and turn around and kite it back. And we ended up exactly where we started. And to be fair, I didn't really mean to land this close to that tree line. That was a little bit unsafe. I should have landed closer to that section over there. But let's run it back. Let's do it again. Oh, that worked out well. All right, so 2 for 2. Looks like plenty of room. You know, the other question that comes up all the time is for something about my weight, like I'm typically about 175 and I used to fly Atom 80. I now fly the Moster 185. And I see people say, you know, if I'm 170 pounds, which motor should I fly? And it depends on a lot of things, but I think one of the biggest factors is where do you fly from most routinely? If you're flying from an airport with 2,000 feet, Atom 80 might do you just fine. If you're challenging yourself to fly out of like small LZs or do paracamping or anything like that, if you like to climb so that you can do acro runs, for all those reasons, you might want the Moster 185, and I've been very happy with mine. But most of the time, I find myself thinking, I actually don't need all this power. It's more than I even need. I'm happy to have more than the Atom 80 though. Let's go ahead and see if we can stomp a little better landing than the last time. Okay, that was ugly, but I did land right in the middle of the field this time. A little bit better in that regard. Guys, thanks for coming out, checking out the channel. Drop your comments down below. Love to read them. And I'll see you guys on the next video.